Aries, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid March 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Aries collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do you got for us? What do you have for the Aries collective in early to mid-March? It's almost birthday season, my good friends, almost the true new year. Let's see what energies, messages, insights we could take a little peek at. And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Aries gang in early to mid-March. What's the vibe? What's the energy here? Guide, spirit team, let's get this card out nice and quick, hopefully. A lot of you know I like to read jumpers. All right, this feels very watery, like water sign-esque. I love the creativity. I love the imagination that I get with this card. It's very dreamy. So there's a couple of different layers here because I think this energy can be funneled and focused in a positive direction. Just needs to watch out for the overthinking. But before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the March subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have a visitor here. She comes up every so often. Lovely lady sitting under an umbrella. There's this beautiful etheric background. We got bubbles floating through the sky. And it looks like she's writing or journaling. So I always get that creative, imaginative energy first. So any sort of creative pursuit, highly favored in this time, whether it's art, writing, music, just expressing yourself. That's a really good thing here. For any issues, situations, or problems, this is creative thinking, thinking outside the box. So Spirit might want you to take an alternate approach to something whenever I see this card. Now, it does also tie into rest, relaxation, and sleep. It does have that four of swords like undertone to it. So watch your dreams. Make sure you're getting proper rest and relaxation, especially if your energy is a little low, because this card is a little sleepy whenever I see it. And yeah, the big, I don't even want to call it an issue with it, is the overthinking. So just again, watch out for dwelling on certain things, being too trapped in the mind. Maybe Spirit wants you to funnel that energy outward. So we're going to let her chill right there, and she could keep journaling. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for Aries. What do we got? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled The Shocking Win. And the reason it was titled that, we did have a tower, but it didn't feel like a bad one to me. Now, I always say wins, victories, they come in all different shapes and sizes. Sometimes it's monetarily. Sometimes you just have a surprisingly good day. Sometimes it's personal relationships. So to me, it felt like a good tower. I hope you had one. But just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. So there could be certain things that go way better than expected or just pop in out of the blue. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Aries gang to start us off. What do we have in early to mid-March? Thank you. Yeah, very collaborative type of energy. That's a diligent. I mean, it could be very social as well. So I like the 3 of Pentacles usually. I mean, of course, we're going to have to see what the clarifiers are, the surrounding cards, but usually it's a pretty good card. Let's get a couple more here. Very collaborative. Okay, cool. So we got the Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful stuff. So very earthy energy so far this week, Aries. And for some of us, that's a really good thing. Some of us, it's like it might test our patience a little bit. And I'll explain that in a moment, but let's get one more here. Okay, cool. Very earthy, very earthy. So we have the Hierophant right here on the back end. So yeah, there's a few things we're going to want to take a look at here. Overall, I'm feeling optimistic about it. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know, I always like to look at the elements and analyze them. And we don't have much variety this week, right? And it's important because it highlights the area of life that could be focused on most in this time. all earth here, right? With the Three of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Hierophant. Now, when it comes to earth energy, it's not a bad thing. It's actually very solid and stable. Um, and we'll talk about the positive and the negative with it. But to me, when there's too much of one element, it could get a little lopsided, a little heavy. But yeah, when it comes to earth, I think of matters of security, matters of stability. I think of routine, everyday life. And that's a big theme I'm picking up here. There's something about the day to day routine. It could be money, work, finances, home, family. So whenever we get a heavy earth emphasis, maybe you're in money mode, right? Maybe you're just all about those pentacles right now. Hopefully that's a good thing for a lot of you. But for some others, the downside of too much earth energy, it could be hard to move through, right? It's slow. And with a cardinal fire sign like us, Aries, like we kind of want forward progress, we want forward movement. And earth energy could sometimes be a little too slow, stuck, and it could even be like a dry, boring type of vibe. So let's go through and start building it out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the Three of Pentacles. Very good. And the one thing I'll say about all these cards is that they do lean more optimistic. So that's a nice thing, regardless of what it is you're dealing with. Now, as with all threes, it can represent groups. So whether it's group dynamics, groups of people, friends, family, co-workers, you name it. That's a big thing with every single three. So this could just be showing us the energy of somebody else that might be affecting yours. So that's an important thing. Now, the other themes I think of with the Three of Pentacles, if we're not working career related, it's teamwork, right? So teamwork makes the dream work. This could represent help and assistance. So there could be certain things you're going through. Maybe you need a hand, maybe you need help. Don't be surprised if someone asks you for assistance when this card is here. Nothing wrong with that. But the downside, and I always like to give you a full picture, the Three of Pentacles can sometimes represent an energy that's difficult to work with. Right? Like, ever have that energy where it's kind of like oil and water? So we do want to look and see, unless it's highlighting somebody in your circle that we want to keep an eye on and see what the vibe is. Now, again, I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom about it. I do think that this is a very good collaborative, hardworking, diligent type of card right here on the front end. But it's another one that could represent routine. And being an Aries myself, I know sometimes if daily routine could get a little dry sometimes, right? Now, moving to the middle, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful, fresh, new, vibrant. I always say when it comes to all aces, they represent offers, opportunities. They're big when it comes to messages and conversation. So I really like this. The Ace of Pentacles, out of all of them, does have that focus on the money, the earthly, all that kind of stuff. So whether this is a new opportunity to make some money, maybe this is a quick level up when it comes to money, it's very good and fresh. It could be a conversation. We're going to need to look at it a little bit further, or an offer of some kind. But the downside with all aces is they represent great energetic potential, but they're not a guarantee. So there could be something where it's like, all right, that looks good, that's looking good, but there might be more to go. So there could be certain things you're working through or dealing with where it's like, all right, I'm on the right track, but there's still ways to move here. So we'll see. And yeah, sometimes aces could be a little flighty, right? Remember, they're not locked in yet. Now, talking about locked in, we get to the back end and we have our good friend, the Hierophant. Now, this card is one of the most in-depth in the whole entire tarot deck. Once again, very earthy. It ties into Taurus energy. So again, that's a fixed earth sign. So it's solid, stable. Now, some of the good things about the Hierophant, or just overall generalized energy, it can represent authority figures. It can represent corporations, governments, big businesses. Think of any authority figure. So it could even be a boss or just someone that's a shot caller. It's someone in a position of authority. This represents tradition. Okay, now there is this like really strong spiritual vibe to it as well. So for some Aries, if you're really diving into your own spiritual exploration, this is really good. The Hierophant's very good for diving inward with the spiritual topics. But this energy is just super solid, right? And again, that's not a bad thing. It could just be the day-to-day routine like we already spoke about, but the Hierophant is immovable. It's an energy where it's like, oh, no, it is what it is. So could it potentially be a problem? Maybe. But I don't want to go all doom and gloom yet. It's just very solid the way the energy is presenting itself. But then again, we have to see what clarifies it. So I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for Aries? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Three of Pentacles. See what that has. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Aries, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Three of Pentacles. Is this somebody else? Is this a smooth energy? Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, the energy just feels like very collaborative. And I've seen something very similar for this. I think it was a few weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks. So we have the Six of Cups in reverse. Now, the energy to me is wanting to move forward in some kind of way, but this is also a looping back where it's like if you want to move forward, the answer is in the past. That's a very unique message, so only take it if it hits. But for a lot of you, whatever it is or whoever it is you're dealing with, if there's a conundrum, if there's a situation you're going through, Spirit's like, no, the answer to moving forward is already behind you. So there might be some soul searching necessary on someone's part. Again, it doesn't have to be yours. The Six of Cups to me is a card of history. It's a card of soul ties, soul connections. It's something in the past. When I see it in reverse, it could be the past looping back around again. So, of course, we already have this energy that seems to be returning, seems to be popping back up. It's an energy that seems to come back together, which I think is a very good thing. So, we have multiple messages showing up here. So, again, if there's any situations or things that you're dealing with, the answer to it is in the past. So, watch out for like cycles or reliving certain things. That could be a big vibe here. There's a big focus on the past, and there's this energy that pops back up or returns. So, we're just going to keep moving forward. Could there be we're going to have to see how the rest of it plays, because the Six of Cups, Three of Pentacles, I mean, I don't want to say this isn't somebody that's difficult to work with, but for some of you it could be. Let's keep moving. Let's see what the Ace of Pentacles has, because I don't want to overcomplicate it. Very simple. Either your answers are already in the past for some reason. Watch out for cycles and things popping back up. So let's go in on that ace. Let's see what's up with the Ace of Pentacles, please. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. I like this. So we have the beautiful High Priestess in the upright, and especially for the zodiacal season we're in right now, she's a big player. Now, with her, she is one of my biggest cards of mystery. There is a really strong spiritual undertone this week, Aries, especially with her and the Hierophant. So again, if you're doing some soul searching and developing yourself internally, that's a very good thing. Self progress. That's what I'm picking up. But remember, Ace of Pentacles, that could be an offer, an opportunity, or a conversation. She is a very shrouded type of energy. She's hidden, she's secretive. So, of course, when I see this, either it's an unexpected, surprising offer or a talk or conversation that comes up out of the blue, which kind of makes sense with what I'm seeing here, where it's like we're touching base on the past, we're looking behind us for the answer moving forward. But the reason I like it for the zodiacal season we're in, currently at the time of this filming, we're in Pisces season. This is the Pisces card right here. So when I see the Ace of Pentacles with her, it's like, okay, this is a good time to turn over a new leaf. So I like that. So it's interesting how we have this energy of the past, resolving the past, but also turning over a new leaf, which I think is a good thing. But again, watch out for the offers, opportunities, things that pop up completely out of the blue, because I like this energy in the center. But let's keep moving. Yeah, I really want to see what the Hierophant has too. I think that's really nice. Let's see what the Hierophant has. And we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So we're looking okay, my friends. I guess it depends on what this energy is in the front, who or what it is. But let's see what's happening with the Hierophant. Why is it here? Thank you. Cool. All right. I mean, we have an ace, but it's in reverse. When there's something where it's like, yeah, but it still bugs me. It's like one of those things. And it doesn't have to be something that like you're raging over or pissed about. But when I see the Hierophant with the Ace of Swords, either it's a lack of stimulation with something. I know that's very specific, where watch out for boredom, watch out for feeling like dry with everyday routine. Some areas you might need to shake something up when I see this energy, because it's like, this isn't mentally stimulating me. I'm bored. But then there's also this energy of a situation or something that's kind of still sitting underneath the surface, where even though we have the turning over a new leaf and doing some soul searching, Ace of Swords in reverse under the Hierophant feels unresolved. So again, watch out for these unresolved situations that you might still be working through. And again, there's no timeline on that. Aces, remember, we have the offers, opportunities. There's great stuff here for sure this week. But the Sword of Truth in reverse, there's like this little shadow. And it's just something that I can't quite put my finger on. And that's why I think it's something that's resting under the surface for a lot of Aries. So we're just going to put it down there. But yeah, watch out for the lack of stimulation and being bored. That's like another thing that could show up in this time. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. Overall, I like what I'm seeing. I like where the energy is heading, but watch out for the unresolved stuff. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the Three of Pentacles, Six of Cups in reverse underneath it. This could be something popping back up, returning. It's a very collaborative energy. If you're going through some rough ones or things aren't optimal right now, spirit could be saying your answer is already in the past. So watch out for reliving certain cycles here. And there could be something where it's like, yeah, if you just look behind you, you'll see what's ahead. Moving to the center, we have the Ace of Pentacles with the High Priestess in the upright. Great energy for Pisces season, turning over a new leaf. But I did say this could be an unexpected or surprising talk of some kind, or an offer or opportunity. Beautiful. I like it. Moving to the back end, this is where the energy gets a little sticky for me because we have the Hierophant with the Ace of Swords in reverse. Watch out for boredom because, like, this energy, it doesn't feel like it's stimulating me for some reason. So it's like, oh, I'm so bored. It's like watching paint dry. So you do what you will with that information. Maybe you just need to shake things up a little bit. But then there is also this unfinished business or just something that's underneath the surface where it's like, yeah, but it still bothers me for some reason. So watch out for any situation like that, especially with what we have up here and back there. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out here for you, my friends. Oh, quick. Very first shuffle. There we go. Cool. Seven of Pentacles. And again, more of this earthy energy that we've been picking up here. Now, the Seven of Pentacles, it is a good card when it ties into nature and things paying off. Often this card will show up when you're going through a process or an evolution of some kind, of pretty major one. So watch out for things like that, especially with all this energy that I've been picking up. Earth energy, remember, it's slow and steady. It's very meticulous. So especially with the boredom energy. But the shadow side, if we're not talking about karmic energy and the transformation we spoke about, because this is a big card for that, this can be that boredom. This can be a lack of patience. And again, as an Aries myself, I know we get that reputation sometimes. People are thinking that Aries have no patience. It's not true, I tell you. But this energy here is like, I need stimulation. So again, watch out for impatience, watch out for boredom, because that might just be setting in right before we move into Aries season. Yeah, there's a lack of patience here. I mean, whether that's with a person or a situation, but we'll let that be right there, Aries. That's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the March subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight into your situation and you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The March calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the March subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 subscribers to win either a copy of the Everyday Witches Tarot, beautiful deck, or a handmade crystal pendant, which I showcase at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, what zodiac signs do you get along best with? Which ones are your favorite? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.